It's too bad this isn't in 3D, because you really get the better effect then. Social distancing cocktails. One for me. Right, welcome back to Late Night with Dr. Paul and Dr. Paul's Notes. We're here today with Maria Gagliardi. Did I pronounce that properly? Maria?
Yeah.
You're a producer and a photographer. Do you ever get those things confused?
No. Yes,
All right.
actually.
and co-founder of Black Ram Media. What does Black Ram Media do? Shouldn't it be Black Sheep Media? Isn't that sort of the phrase?
No, we're not sheep. It's definitely ram because we thrive uphill.
You thrive uphill?
Mm-hmm. So as things get difficult, we get better.
All right. I didn't know. You're kind of suggesting rams can't go downhill. I think that's a little offensive to them. But we'll move on. So as a producer, what do you produce?
We do a lot of corporate videos, we do TV shows, we do short films, feature films, documentaries.
What's your favorite thing to produce? Do you have any genre in particular that...
I love feel-good feature films. So...
Is there such a thing as a feel-good corporate video?
Yes.
Like what? Give me an example.
For the food banks.
Bombay Sapphire could make one. Food banks, if you want to go in that direction, I guess that would work too.
Yes.
And how do you split your time between being a producer and a photographer? Is it 50-50 or?
Yeah, it depends as the jobs come in. We have a big crew, so if I don't have a producing job, then I will do the photography. If I have a producing job, then I will send somebody else to do the photography.
Very good. I understand you're an accomplished photographer. What sort of things do you photograph? Do you have a certain specialty or you're all over the board?
No, I specialize in events and portraits.
Okay. What are some of the cooler events or people that you've photographed? Can you talk about that as a top secret?
Yeah, I love photographing concerts and...
Food bank events probably. That way you can sort of mix both together.
Charity events. I love charity events because they always bring in famous people because they attract more money for the charity. And then I'm doing something great for something else, but I also get to shoot famous people. I got to shoot Gord Downey. I got to shoot Fonzie.
Was he Fonzie at the time?
Yes. No. No.
I wasn't sure if he was in character.
No.
It's still pretty cool though.
Henry
Winkler.
Yes, thank you.
You're very welcome. He's on the award-winning series Barry now.
Oh, okay.
Some useless trivia for you. So what is your background as a photographer? Did you train formally? Do you have a natural gift? Or do you just sort of engage, photography students and take credit for their work like Brian Adams does? Yes.
I started when I was, I've always had a passion for photography because my dad always had a camera. But when I was 15, I actually lost a really good friend and I realized that photography was the only way to see someone the same forever. So I became obsessed with shooting everybody in high school. And then I really didn't know what I wanted to do. And then I would do this, we didn't have photography in my high school, so we had an after school course in the darkroom. And the teacher who ran it was like, well, why don't you go to school for photography? And I was like, I can go to school for photography? So I went to Sheridan College for 2 years for the applied photography program.
Very nice.
Mm-hmm.
When I was 14, I had a neighbor, Mr. Doty. I can't remember his first name. We weren't allowed to know first names back then. And he was a professional photographer, and he helped me get my Boy Scout photography badge back in the day. Do you have any sort of mentors or any photographers like that you look up to or that helped you along?
One of the students I went to photography school with, Jeff Ellis, he definitely guided me through a whole bunch of technical stuff that I just couldn't pick up because I was so creative at the time. So he definitely helped me a lot with that. As far as inspiration, I love old black and white movies. So Charlie Chaplin, his work was definitely something that inspired me most of the journey. Any film noir, I loved black and white.
Do you shoot much black and white?
Yeah, it depends on the field, on the day, and the emotions and stuff. But when it's black and white, lets you see beyond the image, because when you look at something color, you're like, oh, he's wearing a blue shirt, there's a blue painting, there's a pink this. But when it's black and white, it's like, oh, he's smiling, oh, he's not very happy, or oh, you like look beyond the picture. So if it needs you to see beyond the reality of the photo, I make it black and white.
I guess now, 99% of the people are carrying a camera around with them. Some of them, half decent.
Yes.
Is that more challenging for you professionally, or does it actually make it better that you've got the skills and ability to know how to frame and light and prepare a shot, as opposed to just looking at your camera? And
At the beginning, it definitely was a little worrisome, thinking that we don't have to pay so much for the photographers because they're so expensive, and we could just have Mary Jane do it with her camera. But when they realize that you need the eye to see what you're shooting and all that sort of stuff, so take the technical out of it, how you shoot, composition, everything like that, they realize, oh, okay, we still need photographers. So at the beginning, yes, it was a little worrisome, but then when people started to realize that we still needed real photographers to get good images, then no, I didn't lose any work.
Because really, handing someone a camera and saying you're a photographer is like handing someone a rifle and saying you're a soldier.
Exactly. Exactly.
You can borrow that if you want.
Thank you.
And do you all digital, or do you do any film?
I haven't done film in a while. I definitely have film cameras, and I have film, but because it's just so convenient now with digital, I would definitely do it if it was something specific, but no, I haven't in a while.
Not that practical or cost effective, I guess.
Cost effective, especially, yes.
Very good. Now we're going to move along to everyone's least favorite part of the show, questions from the fans at home.
Okay.
Did you know you had fans?
No, I didn't.
This is from Caitlin in Toronto. Maria, I'm interested in photography and want to use something more than my iPhone. What camera would you recommend?
For a beginner? She's a
I
beginner.
assume so, yes.
You know what? The Canon EOS series is great. I've taught, they're pretty cheap and they're great cameras. But it honestly doesn't matter what body you go with. It's all about the lenses. The quality is in the lenses because of the glass. So if you're just starting out, you can get one of those cameras for $400, and you can get from like a 24 to 200, and you don't have to worry about changing lenses. And then as you get better, you don't have to change the body, you just change the lenses. So I would recommend Canon's EOS series.
I think everybody should just start with a corrected fisheye lens and no zoom. That way you've got to really do everything right.
Although these phones are amazing. So there's a lot you can do with the phones these days.
Rodney in New York asks, what is your favorite thing to photograph? People, animals, architecture?
People. People.
Can I finish?
Sure.
Don't disrespect Rodney.
Absolutely. Sorry, Randy.
Or nature?
People.
Still people?
Still people.
All right. Any plans for a book of your work?
Yes. I have, I'm working on a workbook right now called The Architects of Change Project. It's a series on mental illness.
Mm-hmm.
So I have my photographs, but it's also a book that they can write their own story of whatever their story is.
Are they portraits? Are they black and white? Is
They
there a theme to that?
Yeah, they're all black and white portraits of people in their worst real life. No, it's not set up. It's not. We kind of get them at their worst, and definitely black and white.
Can I be in that? I can be like can I be in a hot tub with a cigar and a martini, or is that a little too staged?
Well, if that's you and that's where you find your most issues, then yes, you can.
I find issues everywhere. So that doesn't count, I guess. All right, Gail in Thunder Bay says, has the Me Too movement had any impact on your world, for better or worse?
Yes, I think it's opened the door. I've always had to fight as a female photographer that I could do the job just as good or better than a male photographer. So the Me Too movement has definitely opened people's eyes up to hiring females, which is kind of nice.
And is this something that's sort of happened over the last year and a half, or has there been gradual change?
Gradual, I would say. A lot. It's gone a lot quicker in the last 5 years, but I would say gradually over the last 10.
And have people started to realize that you're better than they are?
No comment.
All right. Well, looks like it's time for a refill for me anyway, so we're going to wrap it up. Thanks for dropping by.
Thank you very much for having me.
And please visit blackrammedia.com to learn more about what Maria and her partners are up to. And I want to thank our sponsors, Black Ram Media, coincidentally, Rich Graphics, and of course not Brian Adams. Just wish he'd take his own damn photos. Thanks for coming. Join us next time on Late Night with Dr. Paul TV.